right. So moving ahead a little bit, jumping ahead a little bit. 17.
Yeah.
Grand say, hey, you're not gonna do this in here. You gotta get out, get yourself together, figure it out.
Yeah.
And so you joined the band. What was? Because I'm curious to hear some of these stories. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to hear some of these stories. So what was? First of all, did you get introduced to the band through Granddaddy, or was it just happened in a different way? How did that happen?
Well, no. Once he was in the band,
Mm-hmm.
he actually, they played, and on the weekends and in the summer, we were always at the beach. They actually were in the beach like 1 or 2 months because there's so many bars there, and they just played for one bar. And with his hit song, everybody loved him.
Okay.
And so if they loved him, they loved the band. So because he was there so long, my mom and I, we would go to the beach and be there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And his son and I became very good friends.
Okay.
And we kind of grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, after I graduated, we only lived from Village Townhouses. I lived maybe 3 blocks from where they lived.
Okay.
They lived in a really nice neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
just not far from the hood.
Okay.
So we would hang out together all the time. And I had a little regular job. I worked at a warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make ends meet.
Right.
But I was at his house one day, and he was in the basement on his piano playing,
Mm-hmm.
and he played the one particular song that made it famous. And there's a tenor part in the middle of the song,
Mm-hmm.
and when he got to that part, I sang the song just in the house singing.
Yeah.
And he said, "Mike, come here, I didn't know you could sing, boy."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I can sing." I don't know how the conversation went, but he said, "Come here, sing that again."
Yeah.
And he played the song, he did his part, I did my part. He said, "You want a job?" He said, "I'm looking for a tenor right now." He said, "You can have the job, it's yours if you want it."
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and in the band, I said, "Yeah." So I quit my job. I didn't even give him 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
I quit my job, and so I practiced with them for like 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on the road. He said, "Well, I need you now."
Mm-hmm.
So I had all the songs, the words to the songs,
Mm-hmm.
on one of these little music stands in front of me
Yeah.
as we did the show. And it kind of worked out great.
Okay.
And so from that point, I got more familiar with it. And so I became a part of the band from like age 18 to 21. And that's all I did. That's how I made my Touring, yeah.
That's all right.
So we were on the road like from Thursday through Sunday. We were always somewhere at a gig.
Okay.
Monday, we were off. Tuesday was rehearsal. Wednesday, we had to clean up some things. Then we were back on the road.
Okay.
And we had 2 tour buses, so it was
Oh, wow.
it was nice.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
wine, women, and song. But I realized what was happening later on. I was becoming my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and of course, Joey would come and
She had to make an entrance.
she had to make an entrance. Say hey to the people, Joey. Hey to the people. So this is unscripted, uncut, but yeah. So as you were so Wine Women and Song, as you were touring, what were some of the things that you enjoyed about touring? What were some of the things that you disliked about touring back then?
What I really liked about it is that I always knew I could sing. Because my mom, she grew up in church. She was on the choir, and when I was a kid, she made me get on the youth choir at church. And and my dad could play, so I knew I was musically inclined, and I loved to sing. So what I loved about it was being in front of all those people, and they kind of worshiped you.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like you are the man, and you could look out in the audience and just about choose the woman that you want to be with that night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real talk.
Yeah.
With real music, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because they idolize you. Because you know what I'm saying?
Hey, and I mean at that age, who wouldn't want that at 18? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like that part about it. I like that we could just show up, set up the equipment, and we were rated on hand and feet. If we were at a bar, all the drinks were free that night. If we were at a weekend event, We got the hotel rooms and all of that because we were actually idolized.
Yeah.
We were just like groups are today.
Yeah.
The part I didn't like about it is that we didn't make the kind of money as the band
Okay.
that the leader made.
Okay. Okay.
So I felt like we should have or could have made a little more based on what he was making, but we didn't. So that was probably the only downside, is that I wanted to make more money.
Okay.
But everything else is real nice.
Real nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, so you're 17. Well, you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
Touring with the band for what? Three years.
I was there.
Around
I got out of the band at 23.
23. Okay. So wow, that was a nice little run.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this. So the next place that takes my mind to is being that, you know, your dad had toured. You kind of saw how touring life was for him and how that affected you guys when he came home. Because I'm probably sure while he was out touring, he was probably doing little this and little that, you know.
Oh yeah.
And when he got home, ain't no telling if they was arguing. You know, I mean, you know, if you know, not much changes about relationships, but the time and the people that's involved in them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just from a real place, like, you know, were you dating at that time, or did you have kids or anything at that time?
I didn't have a steady girlfriend.
Okay, so you ain't have to worry about it. You could do your thing, not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So did you see any, as far as you living your life, did you see yourself picking up any of those habits that maybe your dad had? Did you see your time touring impacting you in any sort of a similar way, or do you feel like it was a little bit different with you?
I picked up the same habits.
Okay.
I drank a lot.
Yeah.
I womanized.
Okay.
I just didn't do the fighting part. It was something about the way I saw my mom suffer for that, through that. Yeah. I made myself a promise at even an early age as a young boy that I would never, ever in my entire life treat a woman that way. Yeah. It was just hard. Yeah. So I did the drinking. I mean, we drank like crazy.
Well, I'm curious. What was your drink of choice back in the day?
My drink of choice was Smirnoff vodka.
Okay.
Smirnoff vodka and herb. I smoked a lot of dope.
Okay.
Another Smirnoff. And when
dope is weed, y'all.
Yeah, weed. Marijuana.
Not crack.
Never went that far. It was always, and back then, man, there was some good marijuana, man. I'm telling you. Because they didn't have to treat it with anything. It's just how they grew it.
Okay, yeah.
And so Smirnoff vodka was my joint. And also there were times when I did the Boone's Farm. There were times when you did the Mad Dog. Right. You know, when you just kind of kicking it with the boys, playing tunk and all that. Right. But I drank really a lot. Okay. And I mean, like I said, there was a woman in every city, every town. You know? There was one that I saw often because she was close. Okay. You know, she lived in another city, but she was driving. Okay. You know, but what happened was always in the back of my mind, there was that little voice to say, son, why are you doing this? Yeah. You know, because my mom was a strong, and she went to church all the time. She made me go until I was old enough to where she said, look, you need Jesus. You need God. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave it up to you. Yeah. But so during the time with the band, I always heard that voice. And what happened more and more and more when we would play, I was getting less and less satisfaction. Although I was on stage doing what I did. And it was to the point where I would have women come up afterward and say, you know, are y'all going back tonight? You know, I'd like to spend some time with you. Then I would tell them no. Yeah. Between the ages 20, 22-ish. Yeah. Things started changing with me. Yeah. The band was the same. Yeah. All the hoopla was the same, but things started changing with me. Yeah. And I couldn't really put my finger on it. Cause I mean, I got to a point where I knew of God, but I didn't know God. Yeah. You know, so from that environment, I didn't feel convicted or all of that. It was just like in the back of my mind. Yeah. And so I did have a life-changing moment while being a part of the band. We had just gotten back from a gig, and I was in the house, got back, sitting there, just rolled me a nice little joint. I had me a beer. I don't know what kind of beer I drank back then, but I had that beer. I was sitting watching a sitcom. I don't remember what the sitcom was, but in the sitcom, they was really sacrilegious for whatever the skit was. And so I was sitting there, I took a big old toke and a drink of beer, and then there was a voice that said, now if you died right now, and I heard it.
Yeah.
Where would you go? And when I heard that voice, it was like all of reality said. I just saw my life from the time being born with my dad, everything he took my mom through, to me growing up and trying to sell drugs and getting out on my own and getting with the band. All that just kind of just flashed through. And there was nothing about my life that I could be proud of.
Wow.
Yeah.
So nothing at all.
No. Not even in school. I was like a C student.
Okay.
There was nothing
wow.
in my life, but I was going through feeling like I was having a great time.
Yeah.
But when I saw self, there was nothing about self that I was proud of. Although I felt like I was on top of the mountain.
Right.
Until I looked in the mirror.
Hey, bars. Get your pen and your notepad.
It's crazy.
I felt like I was on top of the mountain until I looked in the mirror. Goodness gracious. Just having that moment of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Being real with yourself with where you are.
Yeah.
That's a powerful moment. But that's
And it was nothing going bad in my life. There was nothing to drive me to feel like that.
Yeah.
Nothing but me.
Wow.
And sometimes we have to wait till tragedy sets in, and we really don't. We just have to look at the